Hello, hello, scientists. My name is Mr. Frills. I'm the principal at KIPP Wonder Academy here in St. Louis, and I am so excited to spend some time learning science with you today. Now, this lesson is specifically for second graders. However, if anybody wants to learn about science, they are welcome to join us. Welcome to Room 9, the region's largest classroom. And today, we're going to talk about a specific science topic. If you've been with us in the last weeks, we've talked about animals, we've talked about plants, we've talked about the earth and the world around us. But now, today, it's time to talk about the animals and plants together and how they interact. So there's so much that I want to tell you, but I'll make sure that we're clear on all the facts. I'm sure that you've seen so many different types of plants around, whether it's a tree that has grown, or a small weed that's in the ground, or a lovely plant or flower that you see at the grocery store or out on the street. And those things exist because plants and animals interact together, and sometimes other factors help as well. But today we're going to talk about the plants and the animals. Did you know, or have you ever wondered, how new plants are formed? Have you ever thought about all the things that you see when they grow on the ground or out of the dirt? Do you think that somebody walked around and put every seed in the ground to make it grow? Or do you think something else happened? I can tell you, by the end of our time together today, you'll know exactly what it's been, what happened or what could have happened, and all the options that could have taken place. But before we get into that, I wanted to take a moment to read one of my favorite books about flowers. It's called Fantastic Flowers. Now, this book is helpful because it's going to paint a picture for us of what we can imagine our plants to be and get our minds thinking about the plants. Because again, plants don't just grow out of the ground for no reason. Something happened so that their seed can get there so that they can grow. Let's read Fantastic Flowers by Susan Stockdale. I just love when I read a new book. It's always so exciting. Boop, boop. It says, flowers in shapes that surprise and delight. Upside down pants. It's upside down pants. Do they look like pants? Let's see. Oh, they kind of do look like pants. Wow. A parrot in flight. Wow, look at this flower. It does look like a bird, just flying. Snakes standing guard. Wow. Look at all these flowers that look like snakes. And they're just standing up, looking, standing, looking to take guard. Let's see what more flowers we can see and what shapes they look like. And spiraling spoons. Wow, these look like little spoons here, throughout. Let's see what else. Heralding trumpets. These look like little trumpets. A Mexican hat. Let's keep going. This one creeped me out a little bit. Skittering spiders. Look at this. Ooh, just creepy to think about spiders. But this flower looks like spiders. I wonder, how did it grow? How did the seed grow? A fluttering bat. Wow. Look at that. Looks like a bat in flight. And the wings are just flapping. This one's great. Ice cream desserts. Doesn't it look like a little ice cream in there? Flowers are amazing, man. Amazing. Babes taking naps. Look at them all swaddled up. Looks like they're taking little naps. What's your favorite flower? Do you see flowers all the time? Let's see. Bumblebees laughing. Do you see it? The bumblebees. Looks like they're laughing. And purses with flaps. Look at these guys. Just little purses. Pineapple posing. Bunches of grapes. Now these aren't really grapes, and that's not really a pineapple, but they look like it because the flowers have grown and look just like those things. Flowers are fantastic. Fantastic flowers in all kinds of shapes. Look at all the different types of flowers there are. Now you have to ask yourself, how did those flowers get there? And what took place to make it happen? I'm wondering. There's so many things. And there's so many different types of flowers. And they grow everywhere. One thing you may know is that there are certain type of animals that interact with plants that help spread their seeds. For example, I think about so many types of animals. The first one that comes to mind is squirrels. Squirrels are one of the animals that probably I see the most interacting with plants. They're in the trees, they're going through the gardens. So I'm gonna write squirrels here. I hope Mr. Frills spelled that correctly. Let's just check. Nailed it. The next animal that I was thinking about when I was thinking about our animals that interact with plants, I was thinking about dogs. Because dogs go outside all the time. And they brush through the grass, or they brush through the flowers and the plants in the garden. And they help spread it. We're going to talk a bit more about those too. Those are just the two animals that came to mind. But then there are other ways that animals spread seeds as well. But let's talk about these seeds, since we've been spending so much time talking about how they're going to get spread. Let's talk about and take a look at some pictures of seeds to see how they are. So here's a few, for example. And maybe we can add an animal to our list. Look at this. Look at the bird and all the seeds down below. That bird is gathering those seeds and taking them there. And sometimes they may just fall off, and if they fall off, they can end up in the ground. When they end up in the ground, they could possibly grow to become the plant that they were meant to be, as the seeds that they are. Interesting. Sometimes people don't know that these are seeds, but these are acorns. And when you plant an acorn, you get an acorn tree. And we all know that squirrels love acorns. It's the first thing that I knew about squirrels. So when they take those and move them places, they can sometimes be planted accidentally, and then the acorn grows. So squirrels help as well. Now this one's interesting, because we see this all the time around a certain time of year. These are what we call when I was a kid, sticker bugs. And they would get stuck to your clothes, but they're actually seeds. And if they're stuck to your clothes and you move around and you move them somewhere else, and some of them fall off or you brush them off, they can end up somewhere else, and that seed now gets planted. Look at those. Interesting. Now these were my favorites as kids. These are the things that fall, and when they fall, they twirl really fast in the air. But those are seeds, and when they get planted, the tree grows. So the wind can knock it off. When the wind knocks it off the tree, it catches it and then plants it somewhere else. That's the seed. Now this one, you might know very well, because this one we've seen, especially in the springtime, everywhere, like in a vacant lot, or even sometimes when you're just driving down the street and they just float across your windshield, or even in the car with the window down. Our dandelion. Look how the dandelion is, as the wind is blowing, the dandelion is flying apart, and those pieces that come off are seeds. And when they go somewhere else and land, then they grow another dandelion. And then that just catches the wind again, and it continues to go. The wind helped with that one. And sometimes animals do too when they brush past them and knock them off and then they get knocked into the wind. A dandelion. Here's the next one. Just nuts in the ground that have been buried either by an animal or fallen from a tree. But because they're in the ground, they have a chance to grow. And animals or humans have helped move those. Here's a picture of a human moving seeds, taking them out of the jar and either collecting them and putting them in a jar. And they can take them anywhere they want. They can move them around anywhere. They can plant them somewhere else. They may even try to cook them and eat them. But as they move them, they are helping the tree and the plant move its seeds to other places. And that's how they help the plants. This one is interesting because we have a bison. And the bison, that's not food on his face. I mean, I guess it's food to him because it's all seeds from a plant. And that fur is so thick that it sticks right onto it, just like it would your sweater or your coat. And so as it eats, that's the eyeball right there, there's the horns. As it eats, those things get stuck and they may either come off or they'll get stuck into the fur. But they get moved around to other places. Look at this plant and all the seeds that are part of it. Let's turn it sideways here so we can see it better. But as it grows out the tree, these little pieces that are here are seeds. And as they fall or move around, they land in the ground. And those too can become the plant that they grow, planted seeds. And then here's our very last one. Just take a guess at what that is. What do you think it is? If you said coconut, you're right. It fell from a coconut tree. And the seeds of a coconut allow it to grow into a coconut tree. And that doesn't just happen by itself. It comes with help from birds and animals and humans. I think we could add another animal to our list here. We have squirrels, we have dogs, but there's a lot of animals. There's a specific animal that's in the trees all the time. Anybody know what animal that is? If you said birds, then you are right. Birds. So we got squirrels, we got dogs, we got birds. We're going to continue to add to this list. But let's take a moment to think about it. What do each one of these things do that allow them to help spread the seeds of an animal, of a tree? For example, squirrels. The squirrels help carry and bury the acorns. Those are the acorns. The squirrel helps do that. So let's think about dogs. The burrs catch the stick of the animal's fur. So just like we saw with a bison, it's the same thing that happens with dogs. And when the seeds get stuck to the fur, they can move. So I'm going to say seeds stick to the fur. Makes sense. So as the dog is walking through, the seeds get stuck on it. The dog goes to another part of the garden or another part of the yard or another part of the dog park, and then it comes off. And now that seed is likely to be planted. Birds. How do birds help? What do you think? How do they help move the seeds to the places so that they can get all of the things that they need to grow? I think birds moves the seeds to their nest and drops them as they fly. So the birds are helping out too. Nice. So when we talked about those things that were like helicopters when they fall like that, those are maple seeds. And when the maple seeds fall, it's not just always the animals that help with that. These are the maple seeds. It's not always the animals that help with that. Sometimes it's the wind. So let's write maple seeds here. Because these guys need a little attention here. What happens with a maple seed is the wind blows and disperses the seeds. Nice. So that's what happens with that. But let's see. Is there another thing that that can benefit from the wind helping disperse the seeds? So I feel like I should add something up here instead of just maple seeds. I should say maple and dandelion seeds. And I'm sure there's so many other seeds that I'm not even naming right now that benefit from having the wind blow it, and as the wind blows it, it lands and ends up in a space where they can actually grow. Who knew? So now there's a couple things that I wanted to tell you more about, because we talked about the animals like squirrels, dogs, birds, but like what about humans? Do humans help plant seeds some places, whether accidentally or on purpose? For example, if I were to write humans here, what do sometimes humans have in their backyards or even at their schools? If you said gardens, then you're right. Humans plant, I wanted to use my green. Let's use the green here. They plant seeds in gardens. And plants love that because then their seeds go everywhere because the humans helped move them somewhere else. Wow. So we know that squirrels can help move seeds, dogs can help move seeds, birds can help move seeds, the wind can help move seeds, and even humans can help move seeds. Can you think of other ways that seeds are moved and helped to find a place to plant so that they can grow? If you can think of that, you're amazing, because as a science, what scientists do. But we did an observation of all these things and we've listed them out. And now we should be able to see them and think about it as we continue to go throughout our days. Continue to think, what happened or what could have happened when we see a squirrel in the tree or we see a dog walking down the street. They're possibly helping, without them knowing, they're possibly helping a tree grow. So now that was more things that I wanted to talk to you about, because I want to see if we're listening and paying attention, which I'm sure we are. There are a lot of things that take place throughout our city and in your state where those plants can grow. Did you know that St. Louis is the home of some of the most influential centers of plant biology and the conversation around the world? The Danforth Center is the world's largest nonprofit independent plant research institute, and sprawling Missouri Botanical Gardens is the nation's oldest botanical gardens. I love the botanical gardens. In continuous operation. The Danforth Plant Science Center was founded to improve the science conditions through plant science. The Missouri Botanical Gardens was founded in 1859. That's so long ago. That's over 150 years ago. Yeah, over 150 years ago. And has been in continuous operation. And it's a National Historic Landmark. The garden is a center for botanical research and science education, as well as an oasis for the city of St. Louis. I don't know if you've ever been, but if you ever can go, whether on a field trip or with your family, it is the best place to go to see so many plants and animals and see them interact. And just a super quick plug. If you go and see the koi fish, they are massive and they live in the botanical gardens. So now let's take a break. And when we take a break, I want us to have a moment to get up out of our seats and move a bit. So if you've been sitting down like me in a chair for a really long time, let's get up and let's see if we can stretch it out a bit. Here's what I want you to think. I want you to think of yourself as a seed floating in the wind. What does that look like for you? Let's say we were a dandelion, and our arms and our head were the seeds that are blown in the wind. What does it look like for us to be blown in the wind? Let's see. It'll look like this for me. It'll look like this for me. It'll look like this for me. All of my seeds coming off. Like this for me. And now all of my seeds are around me, and hopefully they plant and begin to grow into something nice. We'll see. Let's try it again. Like this for me. Like this for me. Like this for me. And like this for me. Nice. Whew. Glad we were able to do that. Let's take a seat again. You can stay standing if you want to. Whew. Seeds, being a dandelion in the wind, takes it out of me. So our learning doesn't just stop here. As we continue to wrap up our time together this week, our learning doesn't stop here. I want you to take a moment. Think with your parent or your adult at home. Look around your yard and go for a walk in your neighborhood with your adult. And think, what kind of seeds can you find? Based on the shape of the seed, decide, how do you think it might got spread? May have gotten spread. If it's a large seed, a squirrel probably didn't move it. If it's a small seed, it probably was a squirrel. If it's a really light seed, it probably was the wind. If it's a really heavy seed, it probably was just gravity and it just fell to the ground. It could be so many things because shapes come in different sizes. It could also be fun to collect the seeds and bring them home. You could use Play-Doh and clay to push them into the seed and push the seed into the clay and make an imprint. You could always have it. So let's recap what we've learned. We've learned that there are so many different ways in which seeds, plants, and animals can interact, and way that seeds can be moved around so that they can find a new place for themselves to grow. All right, scientists, thank you for hanging out with me today. Seems like Lizzo is ready to eat. Let's get her some water first, though. Fill her up. Let's get her some roaches. Lizzo is very excited today, as you can see. As she should be. It's time to eat, you know? Let's see what we got here. All right, Lizzo's gonna be down here. Oh, okay. That's not the way you thought that would go. Nice. Nice. Lizzo's loving it. Good job, Lizzo. Nice. Teamwork. Right, there's one in there, Lizzo. And get that guy. Perfect. Oh, you see Lizzo? Get him. Nice. There you go. Good job. High five, Lizzo. I'm just kidding. She doesn't high five. Perfect. We're good to go. Everybody say bye, Lizzo. We learned that squirrels and dogs and birds all have a role. We know that the wind helps move maple seeds and dandelion seeds and many other seeds that we didn't even name today. We also learned that humans play a role, and not just accidentally, but on purpose. Many humans plant seeds in their gardens or buy seeds from the store so that they can continue to grow the things that they want. And that helps plants grow as well because they move their seeds to a place where they can grow. So there's so many things that we learned today. Here's what I want you to keep in mind. We figured out that plants interact with wind. We figured out that plants interact with animals. And in order to spread their seeds and make new plants, that interaction has to happen. They work together to do that. Some plants depend on animals to disperse their seeds and pollinate their flowers. Animals can spread seeds through burying. They can spread seeds through their scat. If you don't know what scat is, ask your adult. Or they can carry them on their skin like we saw with the bison. And they can pollinate them by moving them from flower to flower. There's so much work that goes into making sure that plants have a new home and can grow. And it all happens every single day, all day long in our world, which is crazy to think about. So now you have a challenge. You go out into your neighborhood with your adult and find some things that show up for you, whether it's seeds or other pieces. And tell us what you find. Can't wait to see what you learn. And then the last little bit, I wanted to show you guys Lizzo. So come with me and we can go there and we'll end our time together there. Thank you guys for participating. See you next week.
Teaching in Room 9 is made possible with support of Bank of America, Dana Brown Charitable Trust, Emerson, and viewers like you.